Bonjour tous, I'm Felicia Aldiyani and welcome to the channel. So in this video, I'll be talking about French higher education system, and if you're confused about terms like bac, licence, master, and the difference between grande école and université, this video is definitely for you because in this video, I'll break it down for you. And if you are international students thinking about applying to Sciences Po Paris for your bachelor's, this video is especially for you because I'll be talking about my process of applying to Sciences Po Paris bachelor's, and also I'll give you some tips along the way. So let's get started. So first, I'll be talking about the LMD system and also ECTS credits. The LMD system is very common in France's higher education system. It stands for licence or bachelor's, master's, and also doctorate. And this structure aims to create a European higher education area where students can easily move between countries, have their degrees recognized, and also continue their studies across borders. In European higher education system, the ECTS is commonly used. It stands for European Credit Transfer and Accumulation System, and it's a standardized way to measure and also compare academic achievements, making it easier for students to transfer credits between universities and also across countries. So each academic year equates to 60 ECTS. So for a licence or bachelor's degree in France, which takes up to 3 years, it requires 180 ECTS for students to graduate. And for a master's, which takes 2 additional years, it requires 120 ECTS to graduate. Each semester, students typically earn 30 ECTS credits, but for each class or module, it depends on the workload. Next, let's move on discussing the difference between public universities versus grande école. So students in France, after they obtain what's so-called as baccalauréat or French high school diploma, usually they have 2 options. So let's start with option 1, which is public universities. These are probably the most accessible options for students in France. Usually after they pass their exams and got their baccalauréat, they're pretty much good to go. There's not really like a big entrance exams, and the application process is also pretty simple. So public universities here, they tend to focus more on academic learning, theory, and also critical thinking. So if you enjoy diving into books, lectures, and developing your own ideas, this is probably a good fit for you. Usually they're also pretty affordable for students who live in the EU or EEA area. For example, the fees per year is around 175 for bachelor's and also 250 for a master's. But for non-EU students, usually the fees are higher. It can take up to 2,770 euros per year for a bachelor's and 3,770 euros per year for a master's. But again, it depends on each course that you go to, so you should check on the school website. For each campus, there's also a mandatory student life fee called the CVEC, which usually around 103 euros per year. And this covers campus services, events, and health support. Now here's something to keep in mind about public universities is the class size. In your first year especially, classes can be very huge, hundreds of students in one lecture hall. That means less personal interaction with your professor, which means that you will need to be more independent, motivated, and ready to manage your own learning experience. Now, the second option is grande école. This is France's most prestigious and competitive higher education institutions. Maybe you could think of them as the Ivy League of France. These schools are small, selective, and competitive. Usually it's also focused on specialization. For example, business school, engineering school, or schools focusing in social science like Sciences Po. But the payoff is also big. Grande écoles are highly respected, especially in fields like engineering, business, or political science. So graduating from one can open doors to many jobs, internships, opportunities, and also strong alumni networks. Now let's talk about money because grande écoles are definitely more expensive. Tuition fees can range from 3,000 to 18,000 per year depending on the school and program you go to. And that's not all because you will also need to pay for things like registration fee, administration costs, and also student health insurance, which can add another 100 to 400 euros per year. But what you get in return is also a lot of hands-on experience. You will do internships, connect with professionals, and often have smaller class sizes with a more personalized support. So if you are someone who already knows exactly what you want to do in the future, career-driven, and also loves a challenge, this might be the right path for you. So next, we'll be talking about a very exciting topic about Sciences Po undergraduate program because when I was applying, I didn't really find information relating to Sciences Po, how to apply as international students. So I hope that this video might be helpful for you. So Sciences Po stands out as a prestigious grande école specializing in social science, political studies, and also international relations. It's both selective and open to the world, and it consistently ranks among top institutions in the field of politics, humanities, and social sciences. In the QS University World Ranking 2025, SciencesPo is ranked 4th in the world for politics, just right after Harvard, Oxford, and also Princeton. It has educated some of the most influential leaders in France and around the world, and here are a few examples. First, we have Emmanuel Macron, President of France, and Jacques Chirac, former President of France, Boutros Ghali, former Secretary General of the United Nations, and Pascal Lamy, former Director General of the World Trade Organization, and the list goes on. Now that we've talked about SciencesPo and why it's such a prestigious institution, let's take a closer look at what the undergraduate program actually looks like. SciencesPo's bachelor's degree is built on 3 main pillars. First is academic excellence, where you're learning from top professors and researchers. Second is international outlook, where you're studying about global issues in a very globally diverse environment. And third is civic engagement, where you're encouraged to take action on real-world challenges. So what exactly do you study? The program itself is multidisciplinary, which means that you don't specialize right away in your first year, but you will specialize in your second year. So in your first year, you explore about the 6 key disciplines in humanities and social sciences, which are economics, law, history, humanities, political science, and sociology. So here's how the program is structured. In year 1, everyone studies the same core subjects. And in year 2, you choose your major based on your interests, and there are 3 options. First is economy and society, second is political humanities, and third is politics and government. Then in third year, things get exciting, where you go on an exchange abroad in one of the SciencesPo's 470 plus partner universities, and this is your chance to deepen your studies and knowledge in global setting. What's really unique about SciencesPo is its campus system. There are 7 regional campuses, and each one focuses on different geopolitical region of the world. So alongside your core studies, you will take a geographical minor based on your campus. And here's a quick breakdown. So if you go to Dijon, you'll learn about Central and Eastern Europe. If you go to Le Havre, you'll specialize in Asia Pacific minor. Menton is Mediterranean and Middle East. Nancy is Franco-German relations. Poitiers is the Caribbean and Latin America. Reims is North America and Africa. And if you go to Paris campus, there is no geographical minor, so you will only learn about core studies. And this setup helps students to better understand about global challenges from a very specific cultural and political perspectives based on their minor regions. Now let's talk about the international community at SciencesPo. SciencesPo is home to about 14,000 students each year, and nearly half of those students are internationals, representing more than 130 nationalities. So not only you're learning in the classroom, but you're also able to learn from those around you who come from different parts of the world, have different cultures, different perspectives, and different living experiences. So to sum it up, if you're someone who's curious about the world, passionate about global issues, want to be in a diverse environment, and are looking for a degree that's both rigorous and global, SciencesPo undergraduate program might be the one for you. So this is a very exciting part. I'll be sharing tips for you guys who are interested of applying to SciencesPo Paris through the international process. So SciencesPo itself, the selection is very holistic, meaning that they don't just solely look into your grades. I mean, they will consider it, but that's not the main point. They will also look into who you are as a person, what you care about, what you've been doing through your high schools, and whether you'll be a good fit for their academic and civic mission. Here's what the application process looks like. Round 1 is the application, which includes 3 evaluations. First is academic transcript, and second is written pieces, which they will ask you to write essays about your personal statement and also motivation statement. And third is academic performance and progress, meaning that they will not just look at the end results of your grades, but they will see whether throughout high school you challenge yourself and whether you're improving or not. And if your first application is strong enough and you passed, you will go to the second round, which is interview. In interview, there are 3 main sections that they explain on their website. First is a short personal presentation, which means that you just introduce yourself, the background that you have, and why you're interested of applying to SciencesPo. Second is image analysis, which means that they will give you 2 visuals and you have to choose one of those 2, and you have to explain and analyze and elaborate your arguments on the spot and explain it to the judges. Third is basically a discussion about your motivations and your goals if you're accepted to SciencesPo. So here you can elaborate more on what you wrote in your essays and explain to them why you're a good fit to the campus. And this whole process is scored out of the 120 points. So you need to pass a certain threshold to be admitted, and it depends on the applicant pool every year. So maybe you're wondering, what exactly are they looking for? So this information I'll be sharing is based on what they provide on their website and also my personal experience as a student here. First is a strong academic record, which can be seen from your transcript or like other additional classes that you've taken. Second is intellectual curiosity and critical thinking. Third is a genuine interest in social science, humanities, and global issues, which can be seen from the projects you've been doing, extracurriculars you were part of, or other things that you were involved in. Fourth is the ability to reflect deeply on your ambitions, motivations, and experiences, which can be seen from your essays. So when you wrote your essays, they can see how you tailor all those experiences you've been doing in high school to your ambitions of things that you want to do in SciencesPo, for example. Fifth is strong written and verbal communication skills, which either they can see from your IELTS results or from your essay or when you do your interview. And sixth is English or French proficiency, depending on the program that you're choosing. So in short, basically they're looking for thinkers, change makers, and global citizens. And here I will spill some insider tips that might give you an edge. First is know the programs and campuses. So each campus has a geographical minor they're focusing on. For example, for me, in Le Havre, we're focusing on Asia Pacific. Since I'm an Indonesian, I mentioned on my essays interview that that's where I can possibly make the greatest impact in the near future. If I'm studying about my region, that's where I can contribute the most. Second is to craft a personal statement that truly stands out. Be authentic and don't just say, I want to study politics because I love it or because I care about it. Go deeper. Talk about what drives you, what motivates you, what issues matter to you the most, and how SciencesPo fits into your vision for impact. For example, in one of my essays, I talk about how my family's economic condition really opened my eyes to see different layers of society that maybe privileged people wouldn't be able to see clearly, especially the inequalities faced by underprivileged people. And I reflect on how politics, when used wisely in the right hands, can be a powerful tool to drive changes. I also shared my experience of starting a nonprofit organization in high school and how it shaped my commitment and leadership to service. In my creative essay, I pick a prompt which asks about like if you're winning a prize to save natural site, what do you want to save, how, and basically how you're gonna allocate those money. And I chose a polluted river in my country that has impacted my closest ones and a lot of people out there, especially fishermen in my hometown. And I envision myself in the essay as a public official working to transform the area through education, training, and also public engagement to build a more sustainable future to the community. Honestly, I really enjoyed writing those essays because they helped me to imagine the person I hope to become in the future and how SciencesPo can help me to get there. Next tip would be to prepare your interview because this is also a very important section of your application process. So what you could do is record yourself, try to do mock interviews with friends, and try to analyze random images, especially one related to global history, social issues, or anything tied to social sciences. Because this will help you to expand your knowledge and also to help you be more comfortable when explaining random images in a more structured way, spontaneously on the spot. Honestly, I was really nervous when preparing for the interview because I had no clear idea of like how it's gonna go. But here's one thing that I realized is that at our age, no one expects us to know every single thing. And what matters most is how we think. Even if you only understand the basic concepts or context about the image, try to link that to the knowledge that you already have and make a strong argument based on all the resources that you have in your head. There's no right answer in this part, but there are definitely strong answers, so try to make that strong answer as possible. Focus on defending your perspective and arguments confidently and show that you either know what you're talking about or at least you know how to handle unfamiliar topics without panicking, because these skills matters when you go to college. And last tip for me would be to start early. It's always nice to start early so you don't panic at the end. Applications typically open in the fall until early spring, so don't wait until last minute to submit your application. Check the official SciencesPo websites for the exact dates, and best of luck! Thank you so much for watching. I hope it answered some of the questions you had in mind. And if you still have more questions, don't hesitate to drop it in the comments, or you can reach out to me privately through my Instagram or through Dimensions Friends. Before I wrap up, if you're planning to apply to Sciences Po or any university in France, Dimensions France offers services like essay review, interview prep, and other personalized guidance, and even things like housing and departure once you're accepted. So if you're an international student wanting to study in France, go shoot them a DM on Instagram. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and share it with friends who are considering studying in France. À bientôt!